Hi and welcome to my video, and I don't know why there is this weird light thing on me, but in today's video I'm going to be doing a book review of Our Chemical Hearts by Krystal Sutherland. I hope I've said that name right. And towards the end I'll also be doing a little film review slash a book versus movie comparison. So this is from the perspective of Henry Page, who is a hopeless romantic but has never been in love. That is until a new student called Grace Town walks in. And she's not your typical leading lady. She dresses in oversized men's clothing and walks with a cane. And I just want to start off by saying that it's written from a male perspective, and so that was so refreshing to read, as most teen fiction books I read is written from a female perspective. So hearing a guy's take on love was kind of nice. So I've read a lot of characters that are similar to Henry Page, but I haven't come across one quite like Grace Town before, so that was really nice to read as well. I just want to start off by saying that this is my favourite genre to read, so like YA fiction about teen romance, teen struggles, so I had high hopes for this book. And I don't want to say that I came away disappointed, and it would be unfair for me to say that I hate Henry Page. That being said, I did kind of hate Henry for the most part of the book. I did like him towards the end, and I didn't like Grace Town either. I couldn't connect with the characters. Normally I'm reading it and I'm like, yeah, I like you, I like what you're saying, I like what you're doing. But with both these characters, they had reasons to behave how they did, but I also was like, that's a bit extreme. I don't know if this makes any sense, but I did like pretty much all of the side characters, including his two best friends, Lola and Murray, and his sister, Sadie, or Suds. I just want to say that I really like how this book was written. There's a lot of references to Taylor Swift, which I loved, and there was other meme references. They were talking about different movies as well, and they also mentioned about the presidential election, and this was written in 2016, so it is dated in that time period. So I think this is a perfect book to read right now, so you can understand. So my generation right now will understand the references in it. And Krystal Sutherland knows how to write relatable teenage characters because they seem like actual living, breathing humans. I felt like they were my buddies. And with Henry and Grace, it's like a will they, won't they kind of case. And my favourite character is probably his friend Lola, because she just seems so deep, so real, and you can really connect with the side characters. For me, I couldn't really connect with Henry or Grace, but with the friends, with some passing people, with family members, I love them. There's two ideas that run through this book. One is that happy endings are stories that haven't finished yet, and another thing which I can't pronounce, so I'm going to put the word on the screen, but that Japanese practice, art practice, is where it's basically where you have broken things and you fix it with gold seams, is what I'm just going to describe it as. I don't know much about it, but I really love that idea. And there is a quote from the book that I'm going to say. I always like to write down quotes from books that just make me go a bit, oh, that make me think about it twice and have to read it again. But there's a quote that Henry says, that the tears in my heart would heal into scars that would glisten. That is just beautiful, so just wanted to share that. And without trying to spoil it, I just want to say that I really like the ending, because it reminds me of my favourite book, All the Bright Places, with just how it's like the big thing has happened and now there's kind of some resolution, there's kind of some resolve, and you know, I don't know how to explain it without spoiling it, but if you've read it, leave a comment and I'll be like, okay, now I'm going to give a little film review, movie versus book comparison of Our Chemical Hearts. Okay, so in the film, Henry Page is played by Abrams, and I literally couldn't think of anyone better to play him. And Grace Town is played by Lili, Reinhart, and also couldn't think of anyone better to play her. And I like both these actors, so I thought, yeah, the film's going to be good, a bit better than the book, hopefully. And no, it wasn't the worst book adaptation that I've seen, but it definitely wasn't amazing, because all the characters seemed really toned down. In the book they have so much personality, but then in the film they're all Henry and Grace have been toned down to about 70, and literally every other side character, maybe minus his sister Sadie, has been toned down to 20. Even Murray's been toned down to 0. I literally can't even remember one line that Murray says, where in the book he's classic Aussie. I don't even know if he's Australian in the film. So the main focus in the film was literally just the romance between Henry and Grace. In the book you've got some other romances with Lola, with Murray, you get to know more about Sadie, but in the film they've got nothing. Lola's still got a little bit of a ooh, but nothing like the book. The film was only an hour and 30 minutes long, so I felt like everything was rushed. You literally you only saw like their relationship develop in like cutscenes, like you don't even have it develop over time throughout the film. So I felt like if this film was longer, you'd be able to like get more on their side and you'd be able to see more about their friends, hopefully. As Henry and Grace are the only characters to really be fleshed out in the film, they're still not as aggressive as they are in the book, and that's one thing I liked, because in the book I felt like both of them were just so aggressive towards each other, not like physically or verbally, but they were just so, there's like so many high emotions in the book, and that's why I'm glad that in the film it was a bit toned down, because literally reading any scene with them two together where they're like not really agreeing with each other, I was like, Henry, leave her alone, Grace, leave him alone. And this is like definitely a spoiler for the book. I just want to talk about 3 things that weren't in the film that really made me go, oh, that would have been so good if it was in there. And that is, 1, there is no Henrik and Grakov, I don't know if I said that right, where they give each other Russian names. There is none of that. I think the friends do call him Henrik sometimes, but never between Henry or Grace. Another thing, there is no letter that Henry writes Grace, and I think that would have been so good. And there's also, like, just added to that, there's no references to him writing about like why he doesn't have a girlfriend or why he's never had a girlfriend. There's none of that in the film, and like you're missing like good character points, good character development points right there. And this thing really upset me, because I hate when I'm reading a book and there's one scene in there or like one part where I'm like, oh my god, yes, this is so good. If you're making a film, you have to have it in, and it's not in the film. And that is the scene where they're trying to like save the newspaper, where they break into the school and they're like getting a bunch of people like to help them, and I love that. That would have been so good, but obviously because no side characters were given any screen time really, they couldn't have that scene. And they obviously did the newspaper differently, where in the book it's pretty much set in like one term, one semester, but then in the film it's set for a whole year, like they have a whole year. Like the film is set over a whole year. But that scene would have been so good if it was kept in there. Other than that, it was a good film. I did enjoy it. I thought I was going to cry. I didn't cry in the book, and that's why I thought, oh, Lili Reinhart might be able to make me cry in the film, but no, she didn't. And that is because I just was a bit disappointed as well. It is a good film, but I think the beginning part would be just really confusing to someone who hasn't read the book, because like I knew what was happening, I knew what was going on, but like someone who wouldn't, and I don't know. And it really sucks that they didn't give Lola personality, or as much personality that she had in the book. It also sucks I can't even remember one line that Murray had, and if he even had a line. And this really sucks, because in most teen fictions they don't have like give enough like story time to like siblings or to families, and it's mostly like friends and romances. And so in this book I love like sister brotherly bond between Henry and Sadie, like Suds, and I can't remember the name she called him, but they didn't have that. She was still in there, she was still like giving like the wise advice, but you didn't have like the friendly banter side of her and that. And I just want to say that I think I liked the ending of the film much better than I liked the book. Yes, I did like the ending in the book, but I think the film ending was perfect. Like it was good for how it ended for both of them, and it was, I think, a much happier ending, or like a much more ending, you know? Yes, so that is my take on Our Chemical Hearts by Krystal Sutherland. Overall, I would give the book a 7 out of 10, you know? 6.5/7 out of 10. I think it was a good book, and I would come back to read it like in a few years, in many years time to come. And the film was good. It wasn't the worst book adaptation I've ever watched. Please start a discussion in my comments, because I want to talk to people who have read the book or watched the film. I don't know anyone that has. And please like and subscribe if you want to see more. I have ideas to do more book reviews and book versus film comparisons. This book is perfect to read now, so go out and buy it. Okay, bye.